Sojourner Truth and her philanthropic legacy.
That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman?
Sojourner Truth's determination to abolish slavery and fight to establish fair rights for African Americans and women demonstrated massive amounts of leadership for the United States and its citizens. Thus, Sojourner Truth was one of the greatest civil rights leaders of all time. Her courage and sacrifice provided inspiration for millions.
Sojourner Truth was born in 1797 in Swartykill, New York, with her name being Isabella Baumfree, and was born into slavery. Sojourner changed her name on June 1, 1843. Sojourner was one of 10 to 12 kids her parents, James and Elizabeth Baumfree, had. Sojourner only spoke Dutch, and at age 9 was sold away from her family with a flock of sheep for $100. Sojourner was sold multiple times of the 29 years she was a slave. In 1810, she was sold to John Dumont. On Dumont's farm, she fell in love with a slave named Robert from a neighboring plantation. Robert snuck over to see Sojourner, which got him killed by his owner. After Robert was killed, she then married an older slave named Thomas. Sojourner had at least 4 children: Diana, Elizabeth, Peter, and Sophia. There were 4 other kids that at one time she mentioned to have. Their names were James, Hannah, Nancy, and Thomas.
In 1817, the state of New York emancipated all slaves born before July 4th, 1799, but stated they wouldn't be free until July 4th, 1827. This made Sojourner angry, but during those 10 years she married Thomas, who she had children with. John Dumont said Sojourner could be free a year early if she worked hard, but then denied that because he said a hand injury had slowed her down, so Sojourner was not set free. In 1826, Sojourner got fed up with Dumont and escaped to a nearby abolitionist family with her baby daughter Sophia. The kind family paid Dumont for Sojourner and set her free.
Once Sojourner was free, she set for getting back her son Peter. Peter had been illegally sold to a man in Alabama. A New York law stated that a slave who was a minor could not be sold over New York state lines. Sojourner went to court in Kingston, New York, where she won the court case against the man and got her son back. It was one of the first cases where a former African-American slave, who was a woman, won a court case against a white male plantation owner.
During the Civil War, Sojourner Truth helped recruit African-American soldiers. She helped the troops by giving them supplies. Her work and her determination got the attention of President Abraham Lincoln. On October 29, 1864, she went to talk to him at the White House. They talked about various things and how they both admired each other's work. Sojourner admitted she hadn't heard of President Lincoln until he became president. The president said that he had heard of Sojourner's work and thought her actions were very courageous.
Sojourner Truth gave many speeches, but her most famous one was Ain't I a Woman? She delivered the speech at a women's convention in Akron, Ohio, on May 29, 1851. She talked about how white women were treated like royalty, while she, a black woman, was treated like nothing.
I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as any man when I could get it. And I could bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children, seen most sold off into slavery. And when I cried out with a mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman?
Sojourner Truth has been commemorated and remembered in many ways. She has had many things named after her. Sojourner Truth has been inducted into 2 Hall of Fames. She is in the National Women's Hall of Fame and the Michigan's Women's Hall of Fame. Sojourner also has had 2 statues of her. One in Battle Creek, Michigan, a 12-foot statue built in 1999. The other in the U.S. Capitol, where she was the first black woman to be honored with a bust. Sojourner Truth has also had a library named after her in New York and a stamp with her face on it in 1986. NASA named the Mars Pathfinder mission's robotic rover Sojourner for her in 1997, and an asteroid was named Truth after her as well. These commemorations clearly show how important and influential Sojourner was.
All Sojourner wanted was fairness and freedom. She wanted everyone to have equal rights. Blacks and whites, women and men, Northerners and Southerners. Sojourner's determination, courageousness, and persistence helped shape the U.S. and how it was run. She gave hope to all slaves that they could be free and live their own life. She was incredibly brave and one of the strongest people mentally and physically. Overall, Sojourner Truth was an amazing woman and has inspired many people, including us.
Oh, Lord, remember me.